This is our 20th episode. Today we are talking about Face Forward, empowering future investigators through creative technology. Again, this is our 20th episode of Imagine That. Again, January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, so everybody on the show this month will talk about human trafficking in some way. We are a show dedicated to exploring the power of creativity and collaboration. Here we celebrate artists, thinkers, and visionaries who challenge norms and enrich our world. We also highlight co creativity, the synergy of teamwork that enhances individual talents and drives progress across various fields. Each episode will host a changemaker in our community. Imagine That reveals how co creativity and collaboration shape our future and improve our present. So, thank you for tuning in. Hi, everybody that's on Instagram. We see you. If you're on LinkedIn, we're also streaming live on LinkedIn. Hopefully, that's working. We've been having some issues. But thank you for tuning in as we unlock our imagination and discover the endless possibilities of creating together. I'm your host, Roselia Bañuelos. My co-creator today is Greg Micek. You can just say hi real quick.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
So I'll do a short bio on Greg. Greg is a seasoned entrepreneur and public service leader with over 30 years of experience driving innovation and empowering inventors across industries. As a founder of the Houston Inventors Association, he established one of the nation's largest networks for inventors, offering mentorship and support to creative minds in the Gulf Coast region. His passion for nurturing young talent led to the creation of the Young Inventors Showcase, an annual competition that inspires thousands of K-6 students to develop their innovative ideas. Greg's expertise spans law, technology, and media. As principal of gregjmicek.com, he develops web-based business models and strategic ventures. He also serves as president of IQ Biometrics Inc., a leader in security technology solutions, where he oversees the development of Faces, a facial composite identification tool used by law enforcement. Greg's legal acumen has guided numerous startups through complex challenges, both as a partner in Micek Law Firm and legal counsel for Rural Telecommunications of America. A graduate of Creighton University School of Law, Greg combines his legal expertise with his passion for innovation to help businesses navigate complex challenges. His legacy as a mentor, advocate, and leader continues to influence the entrepreneurial landscape, making him a steadfast champion for inventors and innovators worldwide. Through his leadership, Greg Micek continues to inspire and empower the next generation of problem solvers and change makers. So again, thank you for being here, Greg. Is there anybody you wanna shout out to?
My family, great to see you all, and the community at large. This is a tremendous opportunity to express my thoughts to the world at large. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have this conversation. Let's see. We first met when I was judging, right?
Oh, you judged?
Yeah, I was judging at, I think it was right after COVID, the first school you were back doing your inventorship.
Sablatura or Baker Montessori, Wilson Montessori?
I think it was Baker, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
That's
I judged, and then
Great.
From there I met you. Yeah.
At the Ion, yeah.
No, it was at the school.
At the school, right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up, by the way, in March.
And then we've just been connecting ever since then.
Oh, great.
And we'll talk a little bit more about your showcase and what it is. So how we break down the show is we talk a little bit about your past. So Imagine That is Creatopia Inc.'s radio show, and we talk about creativity and how safety is necessary for us to be able to play and to be creative. So I always like to ask how we used to play when we were younger, and that's why I have those questions in the beginning.
Okay.
So how important was play for you growing up?
Curiously enough, I was a multi-sport athlete. I played, I was on the Little League All-Star team that won the state championship in baseball. I was a quarterback in high school, varsity quarterback, varsity basketball player, track, and so play for me was all about sports. And what it did for me is it gave me a baseline of discipline and commitment and focus, um, having the uh, experience of having goals to meet, um, and integrate that into my DNA. And so that play for me was all, sports related.
Nice. Is there one that you played more than others?
Well, baseball was interesting because I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, but I came down to Houston and I played in, there's an over 30s hardball baseball league that I played in.
Nice.
And this is back in, I'm 70 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was 32, I was on the over 30s league, and the team that I was on is still together.
Oh, nice.
40 years later.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Commitment.
Now I'm getting ready for the over 70s division.
Hey, things that last.
Isn't that great?
Hashtag things that
It
last.
is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love sports.
Yeah.
So you're still playing?
I'm getting back in shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What was your favorite book as a child?
Yeah, so it was Stranger in a Strange Land, science fiction. And what that book did for me is it opened me up to science fiction. And so as I grew up, I was an avid reader of anything science fiction related. And the reason that was important to me is because what science fiction writing does is it makes you take a right turn on reality, and you find yourself in alternate realities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty much of a creative person, kind of an architect, and so it allowed me to break down the boundaries of thought, and so I can go down, I can navigate through existing reality into alternate realities,
Right.
to find new solutions. So science fiction is a big deal.
Oh, fun.
You know what I mean?
And probably see how like different facets of reality kind of come together.
Oh,
Things
things that you couldn't think are possible.
Right.
So
The imagination.
it's fabulous.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about how because there's so many video games right now and so much just kids are online so much that they
Yeah.
don't get out as much as we used to when we
Right.
were younger.
Right.
How that's affecting imagination and how that's affecting your ability to just create things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And even like step into, I mean, my daughter likes to read, so she's always in other worlds, but just how much that helps you, how much that
Right.
helps imagination and creativity and play.
Right.
So share a story, share your story behind your technology and how it became involved in the fight against human trafficking. And I guess before that, just kind of how, I mean, you said you're 70.
I'm 70.
So
Just turned.
however much you want to give us the story of how you got to where you are now with Faces, but also with the Inventors Showcase. I really want, because I love the Inventors Showcase.
Yeah.
It's amazing what
Yeah.
you've done.
Well, so if you don't mind me pontificating,
Please, pontificate away.
the backstory is that I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and I went to law school in Omaha, Creighton University. I'm an English major, but I happen to have gotten A's in all my tax courses. So I got picked up by a big accounting firm. It's now Deloitte, but it was Touche Ross at the time in Omaha. And the Omaha practice was the number one revenue generating practice in the entire network of locations. So the Houston office cherry picked, brought me down to Houston. And my job was to sell, to be a rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
So in August of 1982, I landed in Houston. And at the time, Congress had passed the Small Business Innovations Research Act to set aside federal money for small business research and development.
Mm-hmm.
So landing in Houston in August of 82, by February of 1983, within 5 months, I actually put on a citywide conference at the University of Houston, a 2-day conference which I called the Yellow Brick Road to Growth. And I had over 500 people attend. I was a moderator for 2 days. I did that within 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and my featured speaker at the end of the 2 day session was the head of the U.S. Patent Office. And at the end of his speech, with myself being the moderator for 2 days, he said, "We're going to form a Houston Inventors group, and Greg Micek's going to run it." I went, "Okay."
I guess I am.
I guess I am. So I announced to the crowd, I said, "Okay, meet in my office, next month, and we'll start the Houston Inventors Association." So in March of 1983, I founded the Houston Inventors Association, and our website is inventors.org. That's our website, and which is really cool. So I ran it for a couple years, but then I realized that I'm not an inventor, and so I was an impediment. So I backed off, and ever since, the inventors themselves have run the Houston Inventors Association. God bless them. But that's what, 42 years later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then 5 years later, the inventors group launched the Young Inventors Showcase around the city. I didn't launch it; they launched it, and I had married, I got a kid, and then in 1991. I found out about it. And so I took it over in 1991. I started running it myself. And I formed a 501c3. I'm a tax attorney, so I formed the 501c3. So I've been running it ever since. And so that's 38 years it's been going on. In 2004, the Houston Children's Museum, Children's Museum of Houston took it over, and they ran it for 10 years.
Okay.
And they pumped a bunch of money into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took it back in 2014. I've been running it, ever since. So that's kind of the story of all that. On the Faces side, that's a whole nother story.
But wait, when did you start? Because the Inventors Showcase, and that's how we met. You went into schools, and before COVID.
Oh, before COVID, yeah.
You were in like 20.
We were in like 35 schools.
35 schools.
I had 5,000
Tell
kids.
us a little bit about the schools and what you do with the schools as well.
Yeah,
because
so
that's amazing.
So what's back before COVID shut down? I had 35 STEM teachers all over the city.
Mm-hmm. And we're in Houston for anybody
in Houston, the Gulf.
Not in Houston.
Yeah, the Gulf Coast region, Houston Gulf Coast region. And I had some of the teachers did it as part of their science curriculum. I've got an 8-week course that they would follow. Some of them did it as an after-school program. Some of it did it as a summer camp. So we had all different ways of doing it. And my job was to provide the judges, and you judged, which is how we met.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I provide the judges. And I've had some of these kids. Pretty much every year, about 5% of the kids that invent create something that has real value. It's something you can go to market with.
And you help them in that.
And I help them. I
Right.
help them take it to market. We
and patented and everything.
all the finalists have a patent. I offer a patent. I get a patent attorney that donates patent applications and stuff. But like my most prominent young inventor, and this is a shout out to Sean Gilmore.
Mm.
His mom is Judge Vanessa Gilmore. She's a federal judge, patent judge that recently retired.
Okay.
But Sean, back in 2016, he was a 6th grader at River Oaks Elementary. He was our winner. And he created an invention which was called the sleepover pup tent, which was a tent with a divider in the middle that sat on a single bed, so 2 kids could have a sleepover without touching each other.
Right.
That, and so he won, and Judge Gilmore, God bless you, Judge, got a manufacturer out of China.
Wow.
And
Helped him.
they flew to China.
With
and
him?
She and Sean
she-
flew to China, checked out the plant, that was doing the manufacturing for the pup tent, paid for his college education.
Wow.
If you Google Sean Gilmore sleepover pup tent,
Wow.
He was on Good Morning America. He was on all these, TV shows.
That's awesome.
This is flash forward, 9 years ago. Paid for his college education. He became a motivational speaker,
Wow.
and just a fantastic story.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened before the COVID shutdown is that the Jimmy Fallon show, every 3 months, would do an episode on young inventors, and the producer would contact me. I was the feeder for the episode, so my kids were on the Jimmy Fallon show. So I had all that going on.
And then COVID.
And then the COVID hit, And so I've been spending the last couple of years trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
Well, it's coming back.
It's, well, I don't know.
Humpty Dumpty always survives for some reason. I love the
And
resilience.
then as I mentioned to you, I just landed with a media group, a TV series, where they're going to take my Young Inventors Showcase and turn it into a TV series. And their concept.
Wait.
We'll get into that later.
We're gonna get into that.
Okay. It's a great story.
So hold on, viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
But first, tell us about the Inventor Showcase. How did that lead into Faces?
Okay, so separately, back in 1995, I left the accounting firm in the 80s. I became an entrepreneur, and in 1995, back in the mid 90s, the concept of taking companies public was like the wild, wild west. So I did a series of public companies, and in 1998, I launched a public company called JV Web, which was a spin-off of LS Capital. Okay, so I got a public company, and JV Web was an internet company. It's Web 1.0. Internet company. I raised a bunch of money. I created an $80 million market cap, and I launched a bunch of websites. And then in 1999, Web 1.0 collapsed, and I was one of 600 venture-backed web companies that went belly up. Oh, wow. So I took my public company and I did a reverse split, which technically means I took 16 million public shares outstanding to 2 million shares. So now I have this public shell. And then I looked for a private company venture to merge into my public entity. Nice. Then 9/11 happened, and so I found Faces at Fresno State University in their incubator, and the whole concept of 9/11 and public safety was perfect timing. So I acquired IQ Biometrics. I acquired Faces. I renamed the company from JV Web to IQ Biometrics. Ran that for a couple of years, brought in a management team. In early 2005, we landed a $330 million grant with Homeland Security. Nice. We're on the list. I'm a public company, $80 million market cap again. And it turned out we were supposed to close in September of 2005. In July of 2005, Homeland Security decided not to release any of the $33 billion that they had granted. So I'm a public company. I'd already announced this grant. And so my market makers were brilliant because they were able to take my market cap and find another private company to merge into it called Verify, which was a GPS tracking firm. They had a watch. They had like a watch for kids, GPS tracking for kids. But in 2005, GPS tracking was really hot. So they brought it into the public entity. I was able to take my Faces software private. So since 2006, as a private company, I've been working towards again putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, and capturing that $300 million market cap. Faces, I don't know if you want to get into this now, but Faces is got a tremendous.
We can talk about it a little bit, and then we'll go on and we'll listen to one of your songs. I was wondering if we want to show one of your videos. Is the Fiverr one the one that explains in detail what Faces is?
Yeah.
The Fiverr video.
Yeah.
Do you want me to play that and then you?
Yeah.
And then we'll have you share.
Yeah, actually, that's a great intro.
Okay.
Careers in law enforcement with Faces 4.0 EDU, the software designed to bring criminal science to life in your classroom.
And so this is why we have you on the show, because Faces I mean, the research that I've done with how technology is connected to trafficking, not only in perpetrators being able to access vulnerable people online, but also how like what is in technology is actually detrimental to the development, the neurological development of our youth. Just what we see in the media, right? A lot of drugs, sex, alcohol, party life. When you're sexualized before your prefrontal cortex develops, which is in your teenage years, and sexualization can be you're trafficked, something happens, or you see something. When that happens before your prefrontal cortex develops, it actually deteriorates your prefrontal cortex development. And this is why I wanted you on the show, because your software directly does the opposite of that. Because you're teaching memory through faces, you're teaching them how to be aware of their space. So share a little bit more about the software.
So a couple of things in terms of the trafficking. My software has been endorsed by the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children internationally.
Wow,
It's been endorsed by the International Crime Stoppers
Wow.
Association. So in terms of trafficking, Faces has got a very deep penetration as a preventative or as an identifier
Mm-hmm.
for people that are doing trafficking. So I've got a deep involvement in that space.
Okay.
Um,
Let's take a little break. Let's listen to one of your songs, and then we'll go deep into that when we
Okay.
come back.
Great.
What song would you like to hear? I have Woodstock. It was Woodstock, the Nash and Young.
Let's do Woodstock. I've got a story on each song.
Okay, well tell us about Woodstock. I like to share.
So
I like
here's-
to ask our guests.
Okay, so here's my story on
what songs
Woodstock.
they like.
Here's my story on Woodstock. In 1999, at Woodstock 99, I funded the emerging artist stage. I funded it. And this is my T-shirt.
Oh, you brought a shirt.
Yeah, this is my T-shirt. All I got out of it was a T-shirt. But
That's all you ever got out of
But
it.
AMP3 was the company that I invested in.
Oh wow.
And they came to me, and I actually funded Woodstock 99. I was at Woodstock 99.
Yay.
I was at the boundary between the crowd and the stage where the corporate sponsors were
Mhm.
on midnight Saturday night when they had the rave party. So I went there at midnight Saturday night at the rave party, and my intent was just to hang out for an hour or so, right? Well, the pulsating crowd, they're passing bodies around, and I looked up and suddenly the sun was rising. Like 8 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours later,
It's only been 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, wild. And then my plane was to take off like at noon on Sunday, right? So I left Woodstock Sunday morning, but you may remember they had a thunderstorm at Woodstock 99. And that Sunday afternoon, it flooded.
Oh.
And I escaped all of that because I left early.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I was at Woodstock 99. I'm all in. So that's why I wanted you to play Woodstock.
Well, here we go. Here's Woodstock. Hold on. It's the first time I hear that song.
Is it?
I was raised very Mexican, and so thank you
Yeah.
for filling that in for me.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We are on episode 20 with Greg Micek today, talking about Face Forward, empowering future investigators through creative technology. And Greg just shared a bit about how he grew up, how he played when he was younger, and what led him to where he is today. And shared a bit about his Faces software, which we'll go deeper into detail now. So what are some of the key initiatives you're working on currently with Faces, or how do you want to get deeper into that conversation?
Yeah, so I've got some real exciting initiatives going on. The video that you just showed is something that we're just now launching into campus safety. and campus safety is a big deal. So
Yeah.
so my associate Max Martin with facesforschools.com has done a deep dive, and we're launching an initiative starting in early February at the Texas Teachers Conference in Austin.
Yay.
And we're going to be aggressively promoting our software as a campus safety tool. So, in fact, it gets personal because years ago, my wife and I were robbed, and we sketched the robber, and our sketch put the guy away for 15 years.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the impact of that for youth, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's so crucial for them to like for somebody to already have the training, because your software trains them how to do that, how to draw faces, right?
Yeah.
And how important it is for anybody, but to just be aware of how to do that before something happens, just the awareness of that.
Yeah, so the way it works out is our curriculum, and we've got a whole library of curriculum that faces can be used in schools. Art departments use it as a foundation for portrait art. The game that was referenced is used in after-school programs for kids, as an activity. But that game, as you had mentioned earlier, in terms of brain development, the National Institute of Health did a study on faces and the game, and they validated its impact on brain empowerment.
Yeah.
Anywhere from autism kids to older adults with Alzheimer's. So the beauty
Did they find where specifically where the brain was impacted specifically? This is just a nerd question.
it's probably in the study.
Okay.
The answer is probably yes somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. And you shared all that with
Yeah.
all those. It wasn't just one study. You were.
No, I sent you about 12 studies.
Yeah.
All over the world have done studies on our software and its impact on brain empowerment. So it's interesting. So basically, what we're doing in early February is we're going to really promote the game as a whole new venture, and the positioning. And it's funny that I've had it for 20 years, but it never occurred to me that the game has got the impact of an Angry Birds, because it's got 5 levels, all of that. So we're actually launching the game as an Angry Birds app.
Oh, fun!
I know, it's like never thought of this before, So that's real exciting. So the idea is that if the game can be saturated into the public domain, and all the kids are already engaged, and then if a perpetrator in the playground, or there was an incident a couple years ago where a kid was walking home from school in East Houston, right in this area, and Crime Stoppers picked it up, and he got snatched, and Crime Stoppers has a neighborhood watch program, and so if they have if the neighborhood community has access to our software and they see somebody getting snatched, they can sketch it.
Right.
And even if there's a video, our software is able to take a video snapshot that's maybe not a full face, but create a full sketch from that. Like we did the Boston terrorists, the 2 brothers that, and they issued some photos of the 2 brothers, but the photos were partial.
Right.
So we sketched the brothers. Oh, wow. And we did a full facial, because if you could, from a symmetrical standpoint, if you could half the face, you could do, So we did a full face, and we sent it up to the Boston PD at 3 a.m. Friday morning after the bombing. And so they used our song, they used our song, they caught the guys, So we have that kind of an impact.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, if and the other aspect of that is that if it's publicized that our software is in that school arena environment, it'll make the perpetrators back off.
Yeah, it'll deter them.
Because they know they'll get caught. So there's that aspect to it.
Yeah, it's
So-
such a wonderful
Preventative.
tool.
Yes.
You know, because we had Red M the first weekend, and we had Operation Safe House last weekend, and so we talked about the really heavy things and kind of what happens after the survivors of trafficking have been rescued and what goes on after that. But I really love this conversation of how we can prevent it, and how, as a community, if we're aware of just being vigilant, right? Like if you're just more aware about your surroundings, what that does for you.
Well, and yeah, so if the kids or adults or whatever, if they have already been engaged with our software, they'll know when they see a face how to remember the features of that face. It's internal. I just did a video a couple nights ago with an older gentleman who was in his 70s, and the idea was for him to play the game, and I navigated the game for him, but he was focused on the face. A face is flashed for 5 seconds, it disappears, you have to recreate the face using our images, right? So within like 3 sessions, you could see his concentration elevate tremendously as he practiced the game, and he really got into it. So I saw that firsthand just a couple days ago. Yeah, it's really cool.
Is there any measure of like EEGs while you're doing like neuro technology?
Yeah, so this is how that works. So everyone, I've got in the game, in the software, there's 4,500 facial images, eyes, nose, ears, all that. Each image has its own binary code. So when you create a sketch, you've got a string of binary codes up in the address bar. And if you want to, when the face is flashed for 5 seconds, it disappears, and you have to recreate the face. When you recreate the face, you can compare the binary code that you created with the binary code of the original. So what the National Institute of Health, what all these studies did, is they tracked how accurate the recreation is, binary code to binary code, and you can track the improvement of the brain capacity over time as the sketches are more accurately duplicated, binary code to binary code. That's exactly how it works. Isn't that cool?
Yes. Well, we
And this is all, by the way, this is all developed back in the 90s, by people I don't even know. I bought the software.
Right.
I didn't do this.
Right.
I'm just a tax attorney.
Just a tax attorney.
It's so weird. And the weird thing is that 25 years later, the functionality of the software has more validity today than it did 25 years ago. Isn't that weird? I do have a development team. We'll be developing the next version, that will be coming along. But the original version has lasted and is still as viable as ever. It's so weird.
Yeah, and then we talk about how technology now. I mean, what's our attention span right now? I think it's like 30 seconds.
TikTok, it's 5 seconds.
As a human.
Yeah.
So when you're bringing technology as a force for good, right? Like there's these things that we're aware of, and I just like how you're actively advocating for things that matter through technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about how Faces has been instrumental in the trafficking space? You want to expand on that a little more?
Well, I think it was briefly referenced in the video. John Walsh has been endorsed the software years ago, and he's done some episodes on Faces and its impact in solving crime or preventing crime. I've worked towards getting a more prominent exposure of the software to the trafficking space. And this podcast, I think, can be a good opportunity, to get more exposure in that regard.
Yeah. And what you have coming up too, right?
Yeah.
What we'll talk about in a little bit. Is there anything else you would like our audience to know about trafficking that they might not be aware of at this time? Just in your from your experience.
So this is kind of a sidebar, so bear with me.
Of course.
But trafficking, to me, is directly related to the decline of the nuclear family. So I actually launched a Facebook page, facebook.com/restore the nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
And I own that trademark on social media. So I'm creating a YouTube channel and all that because I think that in order, again, a preventative towards trafficking is to message about, strengthening the nuclear family.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of weird disintegration in that regard. So that's my contribution.
Yeah. I mean, as our home is the new in terms of systems theories. Our home is the most simple system of the greater systems that we're a part of.
Yeah.
Right? The home.
Yeah, home.
That's where we start.
Right.
And if you do think about it, you look at divorce rates, you look at how many moms are just, there's not really many, unless you're very intentional about being home and being present. A lot of parents have to work and are just busy.
Yeah.
And then the other time they're like trying to not stress so much, so they're trying to relax in the ways that they're trying to relax too, right? And what that does, again, going back to safe spaces and the ability to play and the ability to just be creative, right? When you don't have a safe space at home, when you don't have however you want to define traditional family is up to you, but when you have at least one adult home that is a safe space, that is a refuge for your children, for our future generations, like how are they growing up, They're so susceptible, right? So then, and after you get like, I call it the playground age, but after like kids are in their tweens and teenage years, everything, how they develop is through their peers.
Yeah.
Is outside, right? Yeah. So how do we ensure that they have a foundation that will allow them to be around so many different people and still stay true to who they are? Yeah. And I think that has to happen with a nuclear home. Yeah. I do agree that that's crucial. That's definitely something we're not talking about enough of how, because then this is how kids end up being so vulnerable and end up being so susceptible. If you're fighting with your parents, if you don't feel like you are safe being home or you just even like being home, you're going to go out and you're going to explore other things. And children are so susceptible. And we're tribal, right? Like we're a social species. So we need others to grow. Yeah,
so I've got predators. Every day these articles come out and a lot of them are teachers. It's like, what is going on here? Yeah. So I've got a whole initiative that I'm launching relative to my Young Inventor Showcase. My 8-week course has been adopted globally, and I'm setting up chapters all over the world. My Faces software has got a whole curriculum library. So I've got 2 separate STEM programs, separate, but they're both in the STEM space. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually launching a multi-million-dollar initiative to create innovation pods all over the world. Mm-hmm. And Romania, I landed Romania this week.
Congratulations!
Well, the guy that I
you have to say Greg J. Micek International.
Yeah. Yeah, now, yeah. But the funny thing, the guy that I hooked up with, he's the Romanian ambassador to the Houston area. Okay. His kids and my kids fenced together. Wow. Most of my older kids are national fencing champions. Okay. So I got that going. Anyway, so he connected with me, and he connected me to the highest level of leadership in Romania this week. Yay! So the Innovation Pod campaign is on a portal called givebutter.com. givebutter.com/YIAA. Mm-hmm. And each campaign is designed to raise $100,000. So right now I've got 17 cities all over the world raising $100,000 each. And I'm going to get to 100.
Mm-hmm.
But each $100,000, like in the Houston area, goes to hire a STEM coordinator and a grant writer. There's 55 family foundations in the Houston area focused on education. So the grant writer is going to raise $10 million. So the campaign in Houston, just as a template, you hire the STEM coordinator, you bring my 2 programs into the schools, and then the grants come in, and we'll be funding the young inventors' commercially viable inventions. So I'll create like an Amazon-type assembly line, launching products.
Yay!
You know, the whole thing is going to
Houston made.
Yeah, it's all Houston made. You know, and I'll do this all over. I'm going to do this all over the world. And the challenge that I had, I'm going to circle back to something you said a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge that I have is that the bureaucrats in our school systems are elected officials, and they're controlled by big tech because big tech pays for their campaigns. So they're not interested in new technology.
Right.
The bureaucrats are not interested, you know, and that's a firewall that I intend to break through with this campaign, because I'm going to go directly to the parents.
Yes.
And I'm going to create an army of parent advocates for innovation.
Yay!
And in fact, I'm a pretty much a national leader in inventor advocacy. You know, I'm involved at usinventor.org, and I've got a whole army of inventors that, you know, can get behind all this.
Yeah.
So my biggest ambition is to really be a change maker in our educational system. It's
Right there
a
with you.
huge problem,
Yes.
and we need to take back our schools.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm done.
And mic
I
drop. This is where you drop your mic.
Yeah, I dropped the mic. This is my mic drop moment. Yes.
And when you talk about like what better way, who is more creative than inventors?
Right.
You know,
Right.
we are so again. Imagine that as part of Creatopia Inc. and we're all about creativity and what's happened to creativity. We've in the beginning, I would mention Sir Ken Robinson, so I'll bring him up again. But Sir Ken Robinson has the most watched TED Talk, how schools kill creativity. And he talks about that, how our school system has made us so afraid of making mistakes and
Yeah.
of being creative, and has basically systematically taken out anything that will allow you to be a creative being, because it was constructed during the Industrial Revolution. So we needed workers during the Industrial Revolution, and that's the system that we've been living with since then.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. So I will be there right with you.
Yeah, I
championing.
am on point to fight that fight.
Yes.
You know, and you articulated the fight perfectly. And that's the fight I'm fighting. A little more personal background is that from 1995 to 2005, I took 4 companies public. I generated over $550 million in shareholder wealth based on market cap. As a creative person, I was pumping it out. But subsequently, I went bankrupt twice. And in 2017, I read something that changed my life. Frank Lloyd Wright said that he could design the greatest building in the world, but unless a builder came along and took it off the shelf and built it, it's worthless.
Right.
And that's when I realized, yeah, I'm an architect. I'm not a builder. And all through those years, I was hiring people to build my designs. And they would build the designs based on me telling them what to do, you know. And when it would fail, they would say, don't blame me, I did exactly what you told me to do.
Right.
Which was interesting. So I realized ever since 2017, I'm an architect and not a builder. So when I engage with people, I don't hire people. I look for partners that are builders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the architect. I've got, in the closet, I've got, 100 different plans.
All
I've
the
designed.
ideas.
Oh my God! I'm pumped. But that's and tying that back to the educational system. Can I talk about the TV series now?
Yes, there was a question
That ties into that.
about about your judges real quick, and then
Yeah.
we can talk about what you have going on.
Okay.
But there was just to wrap up on the Inventor Showcase. Somebody, Shivam, hey Shivam, he has a question saying, "What's the most unique experience you've had while selecting judges?"
So the challenge that I have is getting judges to show up.
Yeah, I remember that day.
You know what I mean? That's my challenge. They'll commit, but then they won't show up.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find, kind of a turn off the unique challenge, what I find, as you've experienced, is that judging these kids is one of the most satisfying experiences, right?
It's so beautiful.
These kids are phenomenal.
It's so beautiful.
And so the challenge that I have is to get the judges to show up so they can experience what it's like to judge.
Right.
Because these kids are a jewel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay. So thank you, Shivam, for the question.
Thank you, Shiba.
And so we talked about your software. Sorry.
But based on the judging, so I've got I've got a judging event on January 31st at Salvatore Middle School in Pasadena, and I need judges.
Yes. So if anybody, Shivam, I know where you.
Yeah,
I know where
if you're in
hang out,
Houston,
not where you live, but
8 o'clock a.m. at Salvatore Middle School in Pasadena. We need judges, FYI.
or anybody else listening.
Or anybody else listening in Houston, unless you want to fly into Houston and judge.
That works too.
Actually, during the shutdown, this is interesting. During the shutdown at Baker Montessori, we had 250 kids that we had to judge, but the school was shut down. So we couldn't do a live judging. So we did it virtual. And I actually set up 8 different virtual classrooms.
Oh, cool.
And I had 3 judges assigned to each Zoom call. And I had judges from all over the world. I had a judge from South Africa. Europe. I had judges from all over the. I mean, I did this.
That's pretty
I'm
fun.
like, I can't believe I did this, but I did. I had, 8 times. I had 24 judges, from all over the world, and we judged 250 kids.
Wow.
Successfully.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Thank you.
I get an attaboy for that. another mic drop moment. Anyway.
Okay, so tell us about what's coming up.
Okay, so one of my clients, I'm a corporate counsel for the Eye Candy Inc., William Collins, who just landed a multi-million-dollar funding to launch a media channel. And William and I met because he had his son attend my camp invention at U of H 5 years ago, and that's how we met. And we became kind of almost partners in media. Anyway, as part of his channel, it's his idea to launch a TV series around the Young Inventors Showcase. The concept is brilliant. So it's going to be based on the chef's TV show where the chefs compete.
Yes. Oh
So
my
he's
God, I love
going
that
to have these kids compete in innovative challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the templates he's going to do, he's going to give the kids all of the pieces of a vacuum cleaner, and it's okay. Within 30 minutes, build a vacuum cleaner. And the concept, right? So
That's fun.
When I had the finals last year of my competition at the Ion Center, Wade Pinder, whom you and I both know, he's a program developer guy.
Mm-hmm.
I had 40 kids at the finals, and he interviewed all 40 kids, and he came up to me and he said, "Greg, you've got 7 kids that are future Thomas Edisons." Wow. Wade said this, right?
Wow.
So what William wants to do is he wants me to find 40 future Thomas Edisons to put onto the TV series. So what I'm doing with my innovation pods and everything is I'm reaching out to all the Young Inventors programs around the country.
So that's national? He wants you to find them national or in Houston?
Yeah, it's going to be, Romania. It's going to be global. Oh, wow. And I'm going to find out of maybe 20,000 kids, maybe 50,000 kids that are all competing locally in young inventor competitions all over the country. 40 that are the best of the best of the best of the best. And I'm gonna funnel those into William's TV show.
How are you going to judge that? Or
That's
how are you-
That's William's job.
No, but how are you going to find the 40?
Well, again, there's
Like kind of like what
there's
we got to
there's
talk to Wade a
dozens
little more.
there's dozens of young inventor programs around the country. So each one of them will feed their winners.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
the
and
winners,
then and then William is going to have a like an exam that they'll go through. A screening. He'll have a screening process.
Okay.
So if I deliver him 100
right,
or 200
right.
winners, he'll have some kind of a screening process to get it down to the final 40.
That's amazing. That is
Isn't that
so
cool? It's a
exciting.
big deal.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations.
and this all happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know?
And then like I was saying, so ever since I've met you, you've always been pitching, you've always been selling yourself, you've always been making connections as much as possible. And we were talking before the show how things just lined up, you know,
Yeah,
like
it's
how you went bankrupt twice. You've
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of others like personal and life things have happened
Yeah.
throughout the journey. But what happens when you don't give up, right? And
Well,
how
I mean,
you
the
just keep
lesson,
showing
like,
out.
I had dinner with my kids last night. I've got a 34-year-old son, Gregory, a 28-year-old, she just turned 28, Allie, daughter, and a 24-year-old son, Jonathan. And my wife, Nancy, we're all having, dinner. And my big message to my kids is 90% of life is showing up.
Yeah.
No matter how difficult life is
Right.
and how many failures you go through, every morning, I told my son Jonathan this exactly last night at dinner. I said, you wake up in the morning, you expect the rock to be rolled back to the bottom of the hill, and you expect you have to roll it back up the hill again. If you wake up and the rock's not at the bottom of the hill, it's a couple levels away from the bottom, consider that to be a win.
Right. Right.
But don't expect that.
Right.
Expect the rock to be at the bottom of the hill. So you're kind of integrating failure into the process, so you never get discouraged.
Right.
And that's pretty much my life lesson to people. I'm 70 years old. Been doing this for 40 some odd years. You just roll that rock up the hill every day.
Yeah. And don't stop.
Don't stop.
I say just stay hydrated. Make sure.
Oh, big time.
Make sure you sleep.
Big time. No, big time. Hydration is very important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's gonna happen. Like you don't know who you're gonna meet or what's gonna show up.
Random.
Where. Right.
Yeah.
The most random. Like I feel
Yeah.
like the best connections I've made have just been like random.
Yeah. No, totally. I'm at the airport.
Yeah.
Random
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. When you just follow your heart.
Right.
Well, we only have, let's see, where are we at with time? Tell us a little bit. So I always like to ask how you envision the continued role of technology in your space, but also in our fight against trafficking, or really our fight towards, I like to call it like the development of our collective prefrontal cortex, because that's where that's where our goal setting happens, and that's where our personality happens, and where we remember things. That's your identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you see, as Creatopia, that's our biggest mission, to use technology as a force for good for that specifically. So how do you see that in your space, or hope to see?
Frankly, I'm really, really, really concerned, because there's emerging applications of technology that are really evil. They're capturing kids' images and transporting them into naked bodies, and stuff, and they're really destroying through AI. It's very destructive right now.
Yeah.
I do feel the beginnings of a counter-revolution, just the beginnings of a counter-revolution. People are waking up to all of that, and hopefully that trend will continue, and there'll be roadblocks put up towards that kind of impact on trafficking and child molestation and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm beginning to get a little hopeful.
Yeah. Well, and it's people like you. I don't think you realize how much you have done in that space already, and like just you naturally being led to the Inventor Showcase and Faces and everything that you've done, how that is part of the fight.
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
I think the innovation pod concept that I have can be potentially revolutionary. Because if I have an army of parents engaged in innovation,
Right.
and then that channel can be messaged into other technologies that are educational related, but also impact the nuclear family and its empowerment, our cultural changes back to traditional values and all of that. There's the upside. And now that I'm launching gregjmicek.com. By the way, I'm launching gregjmicek.com, which
Should be international.
which is it's currently in pre-launch. But if you go to gregjmicek.com, it's got a landing page. But stay tuned. That's going to be going out there. Okay, another mic drop moment.
Well, we have a video podcast coming up too, so
Yeah,
there's a lot to look out for.
yeah, yeah.
What steps can listeners take to support your mission or get
Okay,
involved?
go to givebutter.com/YIAA and donate $10, and that'll get you on our membership list, and we'll keep you plugged in on the activities that we're doing, all over the world. Givebutter.com/YA, donate $10, and that'd be great.
Cool. And
By the way, there's a video on that page, which is really fabulous. It's a 13-minute video from 2009 of the Young Inventors Showcase Finals that was put on at the Children's Museum of Houston. It's got all the stakeholders of the program on the video, the kids, their inventions, the parents, the teachers, the judges, the sponsor. I mean, it's that 13-minute video does a great job of broadcasting what the Young Inventors Showcase is all about.
Nice. Well, I definitely will keep following you and seeing what you're doing and see how that TV series develops. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words? Anything that you're itching to say as we wrap up here? We're pretty much done.
We did it. No, we've covered the landscape pretty well. There's nothing left in my brain, to discuss. But I do want to encourage the concept of innovation and the nurturing of innovation with our youth, which has kind of been lost. We're hoping to recapture.
Yes.
So that's the messaging is, encouraging innovation.
Yay! So stay creative.
Yep.
Keep following us. We'll keep you updated on our social medias and such with what Greg and all of our guests are doing. But thank you all, and thank you, Greg, for joining me today. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're on LinkedIn or Instagram or on the All Real Radio app or website itself, this has been our 20th episode. Face Forward, empowering future investigators through creative technology. Shout out to All Real Radio, which is where we record. On our next episode, we'll sit down with Lucrecia Montes, who runs the San Jose Clinic, and this is the clinic. In this clinic, survivors come to get taken care of. So we'll be discussing the art of healing, first steps for survivors, with her next week. And we'll finish with The Times Are Changing by Peter, Paul,
so
and
my
Mary.
story on that?
Well, I picked that song. I didn't know if
Can I tell my story?
Yes.
So when I was a senior in college at Creighton University, I was elected the VP of events. So I put on like 120 events on campus over the course of the year. I brought in Peter Yarrow, and I put on a concert with Peter Yarrow. I hosted him for 2 days, and I got to know him real well. After the concert, he tried to hustle my girlfriend. True story. I'm driving him back to the I'm driving him back to his hotel. I'm driving. The girlfriend's in the middle. He's on the right side of the front seat. And I respect what was going on. He had just put on a concert. He was emotionally, kind of spent. So he just needed a hug.
Right.
So he hugged my girlfriend the whole trip. and, which was fine. There's no problem with that.
She was okay with it?
She was fine. No, yeah, she was fine with it. But it was because she knew what was going on too,
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's my Peter Yarrow story. And then there was a third song we didn't get to, but
Oh, right.
Kiss. When I was a sophomore in high school, the senior band committee, and this would have been in 1971, the senior band committee was phenomenal. For the homecoming, they booked Kiss at my Jesuit high school in Omaha for $5,000. This is 6 months before they became famous.
Oh, wow.
So I've got a Jesuit high school. Kiss shows up with their vans. They spend the whole day on Saturday putting their stage together, and we're talking Kiss, right?
Yeah.
And they come on stage. All the Jesuits freaked out.
Yeah, what were they thinking?
They freaked out that we had Kiss, But that's my claim to fame. We didn't get to that song, but that's my claim to fame on Kiss and Peter Yarrow. So.
Awesome. Oh,
Okay.
well, thank you so much for sharing all your stories. I love it. All right, here are the times that are changing, because they are.
You may say that I'm a dreamer, oh no, but I'm not the only one. Oh, I hope someday